Hey everyone, welcome back to the Dangers and Dragons podcast. You know what we're all about, right? Addictive stories, epic quests, crazy tales, and legendary adventures with those twists and turns that keep you hooked. I'm Adrian.
I'm Julia.
And today we are diving into a story called Torn Asunder. It's about this teenager, Lily, who seems totally ordinary at first, but she ends up right at the heart of a multidimensional invasion.
Yeah, and what really got me about this story is the whole idea of an unwitting herald. Lily isn't out there like trying to cause chaos or anything. She is the chaos, you know?
And it's like she's a walking, talking anomaly.
Exactly.
So the story starts off with Lily showing off this weird ability. It's almost like a party trick at first. Picture this. The air starts shimmering around her like heat waves off the pavement, and suddenly, bam! There's this glimpse of another world. Crimson skies, trees with leaves like metal plates. It's totally alien.
Oh yeah, and the author's descriptions are so vivid. You're right there in that moment. You can practically feel the heat from that crimson sky and hear the clang of those metallic leaves. But these glimpses into other dimensions, it's not just for show. It's a sign of something way more sinister brewing. The story introduces this concept of a thinning veil between realities, kind of like a wall that's getting weaker and weaker. And guess what? Lily is the source of that instability.
Oh, wow.
She's not opening portals on purpose. She is the crack in the foundation.
Which is way scarier than just a door standing open, right? I mean, how do you fix a crack in the fabric of reality?
Exactly. It's a much bigger problem.
As the story goes on, you start to feel this creeping wrongness seeping into Lily's world. It's not like a huge in-your-face invasion. It's much more subtle and unsettling. Sounds get all distorted, and shadows seem to writhe like they have too many eyes. Even the townspeople? Well, their friendly smiles start to look a little predatory.
It's like the whole world is becoming uncanny. Like it's familiar, but also completely off. And in the middle of all this growing unease, Lily's friend Alex, he plays a crucial role.
Yeah, he's not just a sidekick.
Right. He's a believer. He listens to her and even sketches the alien landscape she describes. And he helps her research what's going on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, their friendship is a good reminder that even when you're dealing with crazy stuff like this, our human connections are what keep us grounded.
For sure. Having someone who believes in you, especially when you're going through something unbelievable, can make all the difference.
It really can.
And for Lily, that belief becomes a lifeline as she faces this terrifying truth. She is the crack in the foundation. She's the source of the instability that's tearing her world apart.
It's a moment of pure horror for her, you know, realizing that she's not just witnessing the invasion, but causing it.
Whoa. So what happens next?
Well, this realization sends them on a quest for forbidden knowledge. They're desperate to find some kind of solution. They start digging into these ancient grimoires, uncovering secrets that were meant to stay hidden. But instead of finding a way to close the rifts between realities, they stumble onto something way more dangerous and radical.
Okay, so instead of patching up the cracks,
they figure out how to make them bigger.
Oh.
It's not about stopping the flow between dimensions. It's about redirecting it, channeling all that destructive energy into something else.
So it's a huge gamble.
A last-ditch effort to save their world.
But like with any gamble, there's a price to pay.
Exactly. And in this case, the price is steep.
What happens?
Well, the story describes this super intense scene in the town square. Everything's warping and twisting. Reality itself is unraveling. Lily, with Alex by her side, she decides to take action. They unleash this incredible power, and the result, it's totally cataclysmic. It's like a chaotic merging of worlds, this collision of realities that changes their town forever.
Imagine waking up one morning and everything you thought you knew about the world is just gone.
Yeah.
The sky has two suns, one gold, one crimson. Plants with metal leaves are sprouting up from the ground, and the townspeople, well, let's just say they aren't entirely human anymore.
It's a strange and beautiful and potentially terrifying new world. And the story ends on this cliffhanger. Is this newfound peace going to last, or is it just a temporary calm before the storm?
It's a question that really gets under your skin, right? It makes you wonder what the true cost of such a radical change really is.
Exactly, and that's just the beginning of our discussion on Torn Asunder.
Picking up where we left off, this new world that Lily and Alex have created, it's like a mix of wonder and danger, you know?
Oh, yeah.
On the one hand, you've got these amazing sights like alien landscapes and creatures you wouldn't believe. But then there's this constant tension, like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, this fear that the peace they've found could shatter at any second.
It's like walking a tightrope between awe and anxiety, right?
Exactly.
The author does a fantastic job of capturing both sides, the beauty and the terror of this new reality. They don't shy away from the unsettling parts, the grotesque hybrids, the distorted landscapes, but they also highlight how resilient nature is, the way life just finds a way to adapt and thrive, even in the most chaotic situations. It really makes you wonder, how would we as humans respond to such a drastic change in our world?
Right? Would we cower in fear, or would we embrace the change and forge a new path?
It's a big question.
And that brings us to what makes Torn Asunder so thought-provoking. It's not just some story about interdimensional rifts and aliens. It's a story about what it means to be human. It's about our ability to adapt to hope, to find meaning, even when our world is falling apart.
Sure.
Lily and Alex didn't set out to create this new world, but now they're responsible for it. They have to navigate this totally uncharted territory, figure out how to coexist with these strange new beings, and ultimately decide what kind of future they want to build.
This whole idea of unintended consequences is so powerful, right? Lily just wanted to understand her powers to control the rifts. But in trying to fix things, she ends up unleashing a force that totally changes the fabric of their reality.
It's a reminder that even with the best intentions, our actions can have these ripple effects that we just can't predict or control.
Yeah, it makes you think twice about the choices we make in our own lives. How many times do we try to fix something and just end up making it worse?
Right. Or sometimes the thing you're trying to avoid the most is the very thing you end up causing.
It's true. It's a complex and unsettling truth that the story really shines a light on.
Definitely.
And it's not just about the consequences you know. It's also about the responsibility that comes with them. Lily and Alex have to deal with the weight of their actions, to confront the fact that they've permanently changed the lives of everyone around them. It's a heavy burden for anyone, let alone two teenagers. But they have no choice but to step up and face it.
It's a powerful message, especially now when we're facing so much uncertainty and change in our own world. Climate change, technological advancements, social upheavals. It's like everything's constantly shifting beneath our feet.
Yeah.
And Torn Asunder offers this really compelling exploration of how we might navigate a world like that, how we might find meaning and connection, even in the middle of chaos.
Exactly. What struck me about the story is how it portrays that duality of fear and wonder. On the one hand, you have these terrifying creatures and this constant feeling that danger is lurking around every corner. But on the other hand, there's this incredible sense of possibility, this chance to explore a whole new world, discover new life forms, new beauty.
It's like the story is saying, look, even when everything falls apart, when the world, is literally torn asunder, there's still beauty to be found. There's still connection to be made. There's still a future worth fighting for.
And that's something we all need to hear sometimes, especially now.
Definitely a powerful message.
It's a reminder that even when the odds are stacked against you, even when you screw up, even when things don't go as planned, there's always that chance to create something new, something better. And that act of creation, that willingness to embrace change and uncertainty, that's where true courage lies.
It's a beautiful thought.
It is. And it's not just about surviving in this new world. It's about thriving. It's about finding a way to integrate the old with the new, the familiar with the strange. The townspeople, for instance, they're not fully human anymore, but they haven't lost their humanity either.
Right.
They're adapting, evolving, finding new ways to connect and communicate. It's a real testament to how resilient the human spirit is, our ability to find common ground, even when we're faced with radical differences.
It's inspiring.
It is.
The story doesn't offer any easy answers, but it raises some big questions. How do we define ourselves when the boundaries we thought we knew get blurred? How do we build a sense of community when we're facing the unknown? How do we reconcile the past with the present, the familiar with the alien? These are things I think we'll be grappling with for a long time. And Torn Asunder gives us this really fascinating and thought-provoking framework to explore them.
I agree. It's a story that stays with you long after you finish it. It makes you question your own assumptions about the world, about yourself, even about the nature of reality itself. And for me, that's what makes a great story. One that challenges you, inspires you, and ultimately leaves you with more questions than answers.
That's a good way to put it. And that's just a glimpse into some of the deeper layers of Torn Asunder.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about all these crazy changes in Torn Asunder, and I think it's time to address the elephant in the room. What would you do if you were Lily? Faced with that impossible choice, knowing the risks, knowing the world might never be the same. It really makes you think about your own courage, you know?
It is easy to judge from afar, to say, oh, I would totally do this or that. But when you're actually staring down that kind of decision, the potential for both good and bad, It's a whole different ballgame. And Torn Asunder doesn't shy away from that complexity at all. There's no easy answer, no clear right or wrong, which makes Lily's struggle so relatable.
Exactly. It's not a typical hero's journey where it's all black and white, good versus evil. It's messy, it's full of doubt, and Lily even makes mistakes along the way.
Yeah.
But she keeps pushing forward, driven by this need to protect her world, her friends, even her own sense of self. And it's that raw human element that makes her such a compelling character.
And I think that's what the author nails so well. They take this wild idea of a multidimensional invasion and ground it in something we can all relate to, facing the unknown. We've all felt that fear of the unfamiliar, that anxiety of making choices when we don't know what's going to happen. Torn Asunder just cranks those feelings up to 11, and in doing so, it reveals something really profound about how resilient and hopeful we can be as humans.
It's like the story saying, look, even when everything falls apart, even when the world, is literally torn to shreds, there's still beauty to be found. There's still connection. There's still a future worth fighting for. That hits home, especially these days.
Totally. It's a good reminder that even when things seem impossible, when we mess up, when life throws us a curveball, there's always a chance to create something new, something better. And that willingness to embrace the unknown and to make something new out of the chaos, that's where true courage lies.
Well said. Torn Asunders is one of those stories that blends sci-fi fantasy and horror in a way that's both thrilling and makes you think. It's a wild ride through alien worlds and interdimensional rifts, but at its heart, it's about human connection, responsibility, and the enduring hope that even in a broken world, we can find a way to create something beautiful and new.
If you're looking for a story that will keep you guessing, make you question everything you thought you knew, and leave you pondering the very nature of reality, then definitely check out Torn Asunder.
And if you enjoyed our deep dive into Torn Asunder, be sure to rate and follow the Dangers and Dragons podcast. We've got so many more epic quests, crazy tales, and legendary adventures coming your way, all explored with the same passion and depth. Until next time, keep those imaginations burning and remember the unknown is just waiting to be explored.